in a Pickle. It was a chilly, late September morning when Carrot woke up in Mrs. Ackerman's garden. Brr! She opened one eye. Fall's a-comin'. No one answered. That's when she opened the other eye and looked around the carrot patch. Oh! The carrot patch was empty. Carrot was most certainly alone, and carrots don't like being alone. They grow in bunches. The carrots had been preparing for harvest ever since the dewy May morning when they had been planted and watered by Mrs. Ackerman and her grandson Felix. Old Mrs. Ackerman, strong and wise, placed a heavy wooden plank on top of the wet little carrot seeds and said to Felix, "Carrots need the dark to help them germinate." Carrot did not know what germinate meant, and neither did Felix, but it sounded important. During those long wet days under the plank, Felix lifted the heavy edges to peek at the seeds. Carrot could feel herself growing a little tail and longing for the warmth of the sun. In the dark, the other carrots whispered words like harvest and root cellar or supper and table. From what Carrot could tell, a carrot's purpose was to grow big and tasty and to reach for the sunshine and drink up the rain. Then a carrot was pulled from the earth at a time called harvest and then put in the root cellar until it was supper at a place called the table. Apparently you could get to this table on a delicious train with different cars called carrot cake or hodgepodge or carrot soup or muffins. It all sounded very important to Carrot. She was glad to have a purpose. So you can imagine Carrot's disappointment when she woke up one cold morning and realized harvest had happened without her. She looked over the mounds of earth and rocks and weeds to the other end of the garden where she could see one tiny cucumber hanging on its wilting vine. Frost had curled his leaves and the cucumber was starting to wrinkle. She was afraid he might not be alive. "Hey, Mr. Cucumber, I'm in a pickle here. Harvest has happened without me." The sad old cucumber slowly rolled over. He looked crabby and tired.
"I wish I was in a pickle. Mrs. Ackerman came and took all the other cucumbers last week for canning but left me here hanging. All the other cukes get to be gherkins or dills or bread and butters, but not me. Something's wrong with me, I guess."
Carrot did not know what bread and butter had to do with pickles, but she knew she needed to cheer up old Mr. Cucumber. "You still have a very important job, Mr. Cucumber. The seeds inside of you will grow into next year's harvest. You're the grandfather of all those baby pickles, and that's a very important job indeed." Mr. Cucumber smiled a little.
"Thank you, little carrot."
Mr. Cucumber rolled over to face the sun and have a nap. Carrot wondered if she still had an important job to do. Would she be left to go to seed, or perhaps she was being saved for strong stalk? That was something she heard Mrs. Ackerman tell Felix was very important. Felix was struggling to lift heavy baskets full of beets, and Mrs. Ackerman told Felix he was made of strong stalk, just like his mummy. Carrot was pretty sure that stalk was a kind of soup. Was Felix made of soup? Would Felix go to seed if his grandmother left him playing in the garden and never called him in for dinner? Carrot was scared she had been rejected. Was she not orange enough? Was she too small? Carrot began to cry. She was feeling very sorry for herself. She did not want to be an overlooked weed in the garden. She wanted to be useful. That was her purpose. Carrot looked around at all the weeds and rocks and bugs in the garden. She saw a butterfly and a worm and 2 brown rocks and a dandelion. She didn't know their purpose, but she knew they must all have special jobs to do, or they wouldn't be in the carrot patch. Carrot cheered up a little bit and decided to wait and see what would happen next. Just then, Felix approached the garden in his rubber boots and overalls. Carrot guessed he was about 5 in human years. He looked hungry. Felix bent down and pulled Carrot by her green fronds straight out of the earth.
"Yum! Nanny says carrots always taste sweetest after the frost. I saved you for special."
And with that, Felix carried her off towards the garden hose for a good washing. And Carrot felt very proud to have a purpose after all.